1, 2, 3, 4.
And hello there, all you Stay Tuners. Welcome back to another episode of Stay Tuned Sports. It's your good friend Jimbo here, alone again. Sorry, guys. No, Shoulder's going to be here right now. He had work tonight, so kind of stuck with me again. Sorry, but I'll try to make this as painless as possible. But we got some good topics to talk about, and maybe try to get some of your opinions. But before all that, if you guys head over to Twitter and follow my personal Twitter at Jimbo ST Sports, follow the show at ST Sports Podcast. Also follow Shoulders. His is Shoulders_bro. Head over to bellyupsports.com. A lot of good articles there. Have some merchandise and everything like that. I write some articles for them. I try to do once a week. You know, sometimes if I have the time, I try to do a little bit more. But they definitely pump out a lot of articles every day, and some good ones, some interesting. But yeah, definitely check them out. You can find us on iTunes, TuneIn, Google Play. All the main platforms that you could listen to podcasts. So, and also when you guys go over there, rate us, give us 5 stars, give us 1 star, just so we know if we're doing something right or wrong. But jumping into the show, we're gonna start off. Actually, I always try to start the show off with like a feel good story or a funny story or something like that, and it came out, I believe it was like Monday of this week. For all you Eagles fans out there, you know who Vince Papale is. Disney made a movie about him called Invincible with Mark Wahlberg. And the story was he was a walk-on to the Philadelphia Eagles back in the like 78, 79, 80, somewhere around there, with Dick Vermeil's Philadelphia Eagles. And the funny story is, he broke into the league when he was 30 years old, played special teams. I believe his third year in the league, he was named special teams captain. And, if you guys, it's definitely a really good movie, and I'm not just saying it because I'm an Eagles fan, but to see what he had to go through, the hard times that what was going on down there in Philly, but it was a good story. And which brings me to this story. His grandson is getting a tryout with the Philadelphia Eagles. Vinny Papale is a wide receiver from University of Delaware who is going to take part in the Eagles Pro Day workout for local players in April. Some stats that he did at Delaware's Pro Day. Now, like I said, this came out Monday or so last Friday was their Pro Day. He ran a 4.57 40-yard dash. Not the quickest, but not the slowest. I mean, he probably could be a tight end or so. And the one stat that jumped out to me was he posted a broad jump of 10 foot 4 inches. That's freaking high. That to me definitely sounds like, he may not be a number 1 or number 2 guy, but come, down in the red zone, just throw the ball up, and let him get up there like Alshon Jeffrey. So, I'm rooting for him. I hope he, makes the squad, whether it be a practice squad or, on the actual team. And if he makes the preseason, it's gonna be interesting to watch him too. See how good he is. Because I mean, Delaware's not a big school. It's not like Ohio State or anything like that. But you look at Marshall. Marshall University. You had Randy Moss come out of there. Pennington, the quarterback that played with the Jets. They had some decent players come out of there. So, I mean, just because you go to a small school doesn't mean that you're not NFL caliber player. It just, how the cards got dealt to you, I guess, in a way, maybe. So, Vinny Papali, we're pulling for you. Well, at least I am. I'm pretty sure Shoulders is. He's a big Vince Papali fan, especially with the movie and stuff like that. So, good luck with everything. Hopefully you make the team, or at least get noticed enough that maybe another team will pick you up. And also this past week, Rob Gronkowski announced his retirement. Now, I've been seeing a lot of people say that they think he's the greatest tight end ever. I disagree. He is a good tight end. So you Patriots fans, don't jump on me about bashing him or whatnot. I still think Tony Gonzalez is the best tight end ever to play the game. He seemed like Tony Gonzalez seemed like every year he was consistent, not really hurt, that much, played almost, every season. Gronk, to me, he's 30 years old, he's retiring, he's been in the league for 9 years. He's been hurt the past 3 years, at least 4 or 5 games a year. And the 1 year, I think it was, he blew his knee out, so he was out for the whole year. So he really only played 6 full seasons, which, he's a high persona type guy, very eccentric type with the party boats and stuff like that. But I do kind of like how he brought back the old school spiking the ball. Not just a little spike, but I mean cocking back and just trying to bust the ball. But I think you're gonna start to see this Patriots team start to slowly come back down to earth as far as being the dominant team in the AFC East. I mean, the old saying, you gotta go with the Patriots until they start losing, and I mean, you still gotta say it because you got Tom Brady back there. I don't like him, but he is one of the greatest. Until he's done, I don't see that Patriots team, having a losing record anytime soon. And that's what's funny too is Brady's gonna be 40 years old, or is, I forget which one it is, and Gronk is retiring at 30. Just another player that Tom Brady outplayed. I don't know how you would want to say that. So in the past, say 5-10 years, Gronk, Randy Moss, Gerard Mayo, who I believe the Patriots just signed him as a linebackers coach. So a lot of good players that retired before Tom Brady, and Tom Brady's older. It's insane with how that's playing out with him. But again, congratulations, Gronk. Definitely a Hall of Fame career. Definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer. That I will agree to. Only part of that I won't agree to is he's not the greatest tight end ever to play the game. And, I saw one statement on ESPN. I got to say this, too. He revolutionized the game, the position, tight end. I'm sorry, again, Antonio Gates and Tony Gonzalez are the ones that brought that basketball, body built type to that position. Back in the day, tight ends were just a sixth blocker. They never caught the ball or anything like that. And Antonio Gates and Gonzalez, yeah, they're quicker. They're smaller than Gronkowski. So Gronkowski's a little bit more powerful blocker, but that's because of the size too, So with that being said, congratulations, Gronk, on a outstanding career. Pretty sure we'll see you in the Hall of Fame within the next 5 years. I think it's 5 years you gotta wait. One story that came out this past week that doesn't sound too good is for the Alliance of American Football. Came out that they may not even be able to last the whole season. So this past Tuesday, I think it was, the majority owner of the Alliance of American Football, Tom Dundon, said it's in danger of folding without the help of National Football League Players Association, the union. He also said that they're refusing to allow the first-year league to use young players. Now, what the rules, I guess, of the collective bargaining agreement, or they have with the Alliance of American Football, is that any player that is not signed, any NFL player that is not signed to a team, can sign with AAF. But if Alliance of American Football wants to sign a practice squad player or a player that has a futures contract, they would need the cooperation of the union to say it's okay to acquire them. Now, with that being said, they've always said that NFL is not part of this at all. Has no part in this league, but they are labeled as a developmental league. Wouldn't you want your young players that are on practice squads that need that couple extra reps to maybe possibly, get to the first strings and second strings? Wouldn't you want them to go over there? Yes, I understand there's the concern of potential injuries and whatever violations of the collective bargaining agreement. I'm not sure what that part is, like what they're afraid of. But wouldn't you want them to go over there and get better, that, make the NFL brand even better, have more players that are really good? So I don't know what the union's problem is, And on top of that, with the Alliance, if they are a developmental league, why doesn't the NFL just come in and say, listen, okay, we'll buy you out, we'll make you like how NFL Europe was, but keep it on the U.S. soil instead of overseas? I still think that's one of the main reasons why NFL Europe didn't work that well, is because obviously it's more popular over here in the U.S. than over in Europe. All they have is just England. You don't see, Ireland or someone like that driving all the way to see some games. So I still think the NFL, if they keep it on U.S. soil, it will work out. Now, the majority owner, Tom Dundon, also said that if the union doesn't help, he's going to have a decision the next day or two, which I didn't see nothing come out yet. Like I said, this story came out earlier in the week, but that he will have a decision whether it's going to fold or not. My other thing, too, is this is what happens when you don't have a network deal in place. Majority of these games went on to CBS Sports Network, which myself, I do not have the app. I don't feel like paying $10 a month or whatever it is. Also, this week alone, it went to TNT. NFL Network gets at least like 1 or 2 games a week, I believe it is. B&R Network, I think, or something like that. Like, they just had some weird networks all over. And if CBS is the one that's going to be part of this, I've only seen 2, maybe 3 games on CBS, the actual CBS channel. I think if they would have kept them all on the CBS channel, that would have helped out to bring the fans in, to fill up the stadiums. I think it was just kind of bad planning, and maybe the critics that I took shots at in the first week might have been onto something and it's starting to come out now. So I'm hoping that it gets turned around. I know when I posted a story for me and Shoulders to look at. King, our buddy King, made a comment that he thinks this is a money ploy, which it possibly could be. It could be a negotiations tactic type deal. And so, I mean, and this is week 9 here. The next week is the last week of the regular season. Then they go 2 weeks of playoffs. Why not just play out the year? I understand. If you're losing the money, 3 more weeks, you'll probably, you'll be losing more money. But you wasted all this time and effort. Just let it play out. Name a champion. Don't just say, oh, well, because you have the best record, you're the champion of this league, and only one that's ever going to win it. So hopefully the union starts stepping up a little bit. Hopefully something comes about this, and they could, work this all out. Now, when I was recording Thursday for the show and the UFC talk and all that stuff, as I was recording, a trade came through. Jordan Howard gets traded to the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, in my defense and Shoulders' defense, we really haven't talked about the Eagles in a couple weeks, so I think this is a big trade for us. And for what we got him, and we gave the Bears a 6th round pick in 2020, not this year's, next year's, that could become a 5th round pick. Now, it's a conditional, so I'm not sure what the conditions are, whether it be playing time or yards or touchdowns or something like that. But this is a big pickup. He's a big back. He's like 6'3", 224, something like that. He's a big bruiser. He's going to help Philly's rushing offense, which was 28th last year and was second to the bottom for yards per attempt, 3.9. You're not going to get a lot done. I'm a big Josh Adams fan on the Eagles, and he led the team in rushing yards, and he was ranked 41st running back. So now you're getting Jordan Howard, who's been in the league for 3 years now, made the Pro Bowl in his rookie year, had 2,000-yard seasons. So you're getting a good back. He slipped up a little bit last year in Matt Nagy's offense, but was it Howard or was it the offense that maybe he just didn't match? Now, he also brings that physical presence that we used to have with LeGarrette Blount and Ajayi. I think with this trade closes the door on Ajayi coming back, which I'm okay with. I mean, he was good when he was with us, but he's too injury prone, and we need a back that's going to be available every week, every play. And also, I think this may close the door on Darren Sproles coming back to Philly, because if, let's say this trade works out, you got Jordan Howard, he's going to be your starter. You have Josh Adams, you have Wendell Smallwood, you have Corey Clement coming back from an ACL, so there's 4 running backs. I can't see why you would run 5 running backs every week. The only thing I could see, and what I would do, is I don't like Wendell Smallwood. I never really did. Fumbles too much. He just too inconsistent. I would let him go and bring Darren Sproles in, because you're getting him for 2 positions. You get him for running back, and you're also getting him for special teams. You got Corey Clement coming back from an ACL. We all know how that usually works out. It's very tough to come back from an ACL the following year and be productive. So if they go with those 4, they could ease Clement back into the fold. Now this is the final year of his Jordan Howard's rookie contract, which he's making around about $2 million. Is this like a Alshon Jeffrey type deal where let's see how he plays? If he plays good, we sign him to a longer contract extension? I think depending on what the numbers would be, money-wise, I would definitely re-sign him. You'll have 2 bruiser backs with Josh Adams and Jordan Howard. You have Corey Clement, who could be a bruiser, but catches the ball out of the backfield as well. And after this year, if Darren Sproles, wherever he plays, he's probably going to retire after this year, if not before the year starts. So, and to only get him for a 6th-round pick, like Howie Roseman, he's a genius. He got Darren Sproles from the Saints for a 5th-round pick, which, I'm sorry, Darren Sproles is a 2nd or 3rd-round running back then, too. Even now, he's still like a 3rd or 4th because he's still productive. Yes, he's older. That's probably the only knock on him. And he doesn't have a whole lot of wear and tear because wherever he went was always a running back by committee type thing, and he was productive. So, and then, again, with Howie Roseman, going into the offseason, we had like $5 million under the cap, I believe it was. In 1 week, somehow, we freed up $28 million. We went from second lowest to third highest amount of cap space in 1 week. It was freaking insane. But and that's why he wins the executive of the year every year, or is always in the talks for it and stuff like that. And I'm just liking all these moves that Philly's doing right now. I mean, Carson Wentz, he's the key to this whole thing. He's got to stay healthy. He's got to at least just keep being as productive, So, I mean, like I said, I'm interested to see how this Howard trade plays out for us, if he is productive, and I think it will be. So, this past week was the owners' meeting, and they had a couple rule changes. A couple of them got shot down, but the major one that is very controversial still is the pass interference rule. Can it be reviewed as a replay challenge? And after long talks between the owners, the coaches, it finally got passed that offensive and defensive pass interference can be challenged by coaches. And the one thing that really stuck out to me, that it's been in talks for years now, but the vote was 31-1 to implement the change. 31 coaches, and it came out that the one was the Bengals made the no vote. I'm okay with it. Now, a lot of people are screaming that's going to slow down the game. It's going to make it sloppy now. It opened up a can of worms. Here's the thing. It's a challenge. It's still only... If there's 5 of these plays that happen, they're only going to be able to challenge 2 of them. Maybe 3 if you get those 2 right. So it's not going to be like he's going to be constantly throwing that red flag out every time that there's a bad call, like what happened to the Saints and the Rams. I don't think it's going to slow the game. Now, the one thing I wish they would have done, which may have slowed down the game a little bit, was instead of making it a coach's challenge, make it a booth review where the replay ref up in the booth can buzz down and say, hey, you better take a relook at this play. I think you guys missed something here. So that will be starting this upcoming season. Like I said, I don't think it's going to slow the game down. I think it's going to make it better because, I mean, again, we always see it. There's always some type of play like this that affects the outcome of the game, which, to me, it did with the Saints game. It took... Yeah, there was other plays after that they could have made better, the Saints, and won, but that took all the momentum out of what they were trying to do. Now, also, I think the Kansas City Chiefs made a proposal to have, in overtime, each team have one possession, whether the first team that gets the ball scores a touchdown or not. The other team has a chance to tie it back up. I don't like that. I like how it is now. If you score 3 points, the other team gets the ball. If you score 7 or you score a touchdown, that first possession, ball game's over. That's fine. Now, if you look at the Alliance of American Football, how their overtime, because last week there was a game, the Memphis game, went to overtime. Both teams get a possession at the 35-yard line, at the end of both those possessions, if it's still tied, it's tied. There should be no ties in football, in my opinion. They should try to figure out a way with these overtime rules that this don't happen. You look at last year, I believe the Eagles wouldn't have been in the playoffs if the Vikings didn't tie that one game. If they would have won it, they would have been in the playoffs. Now, obviously, if they would have lost, then Philly would have been in the playoffs. But I just hate ties. They screw up everything, and there's no coming back from it. Sorry. Maybe, now this would make the game go longer, but maybe overtime comes, it's a sudden death. No time. Whoever scores 6 or 7 points first wins the game. But we'll see how this pass interference replay change that the coaches could challenge it. We'll see how it affects the game. Definitely we'll see it in preseason possibly. That's where we see a lot of the changes. Even like when they made the helmet rule change in the preseason, it was like 12 penalties in the first half of every game. But come regular season, they backed off a little bit. It was a little bit more lenient. So we'll see how this goes. But that's going to be it for this week. I'm going to head back downstairs, have some beers, either play some hockey or watch UFC Fight Night. I got it on right now. I think the first fight just got done. So, but before I go, and before you guys go watch the fights, head over to Twitter. Follow me at Jimbo ST Sports. Follow the show at ST Sports Podcast. Also follow shoulders_bro. Head over to bellyupsports.com. Look at all that stuff. Like I said, it's a really cool website as well. You can find us on TuneIn, Spotify, iTunes, all that stuff. Leave reviews, leave comments. Let us know what you think of us, good or bad. We don't care. But this is your good friend Jimbo, signing out.